Assalamu alaikum, gorgeous, and welcome back to episode 4 of the Sacred Femme Diaries. And I'm actually thinking about changing the name of my podcast to the Rosalind Batul Show. So probably next week you will probably hear me say the Rosalind Batul Show. I think it's time I owned my name because my name is unique, and it ties in with our topic today about being authentic and about learning who you are and embracing yourself. And I feel like a lot of us run away from ourselves and outsource our confidence, hoping that if I make money, if I become successful, if I have a career, if I have a husband, have children, if I have something outside of myself, then I will become more of myself. But that's the biggest lie you could ever tell yourself. You will never become more of yourself by acquiring more things. You must become more of yourself without acquiring things for you to experience and embrace your full self. So let me break it down for you. When you were a little girl, maybe you were told you are too much. Maybe you were often reprimanded or criticized or judged for being yourself. Maybe you were bullied. Maybe your parents, your mother was overly critical, used to compare you to other girls. Maybe your dad wasn't around or he didn't treat you like his princess. So you created this meaning, because children are meaning-making machines. When we're not getting the love that we crave and we're not getting the attention we crave as children, we make a meaning out of it. But the meaning we make isn't that my parents are in a bad mood. The meaning we make is that there's something wrong with me. So the meaning you made out of your parents criticizing you, being bullied, looking different, feeling different, is that I don't belong here. I just don't belong. I'm different. And that created a disconnect. The response you had to not feeling like you belonged was to disconnect from yourself and create your shadow self. And you created the shadow self from pure shame. And now that shame has been projected into the world, and you are attracting all things that make you feel shame. So the guy you're with, the guy who doesn't text you back, he ghosts you. He doesn't spend money on you. He makes you feel like you're hard to love. That is because you attracted him through your shadow self. Your shadow self is the self that you project into the world. I want you to imagine it's like Batman. You know the Batman call, like he used to project the Batman sign into the world. You're doing that by projecting the fake self outside. But you're doing this because you're telling yourself that if someone can love my fake self, then I'll learn to love myself. If someone can love me at my worst, then that means I'm deserving of love at my best. You're looking for someone to love you for what you can't love about yourself, hoping that that person's love will fill the void within. And that's basically like looking in the mirror and expecting your reflection to smile back without you smiling first. When you look in the reflection, if you don't smile first, the reflection won't smile. If you look in the mirror, if you're not smiling and you're frowning, you will see someone frowning back. So when you're saying to yourself that, oh, if only I had a man to love me, if only I had more money, if I had a child, if I had a pet, if I had more friends, if I could travel more, if I had more freedom, then I would be. And the formula you're working from is, if I have that thing, then I will do the thing to become the thing. And that's the reason why you're stuck in this sabotage cycle of proving, hustling, feeling like a fake, feeling like you're not good enough, and feeling so inauthentic. It's the reason why you have low self-esteem. It's the reason why you go through bouts of depression. It's the reason why you go through anxiety, because you are not expressing your true self. Depression, anxiety are all pointers, or it's showing you that you're not being yourself. You're not really living your true purpose. And your true purpose is to be yourself. Like, I know there's people out here say, go find your true purpose. Your true purpose in life is not to accomplish anything. It's just to become yourself. That's it. Like, I want you to just make it very simple for yourself. Your true purpose in life is not to accomplish anything. Like when you were born, you already accomplished something. You've already achieved something by being born. Because think about it, there's millions of sperm. You were the one who was conceived. So you won the race to be born. So you already were accomplished the moment you were born. The moment you were conceived, you won. That's the whole point. And you came on this earth to experience more of that accomplishment. You were brought to earth to experience more of yourself. But of course, when we're growing up and our parents don't have the tools to help us become more of ourselves, and instead they shame us, then we project that shadow self into the world and tell ourselves, well, I don't have that. If I had love, then I would love myself. If I had money, I would feel rich. If I had a husband, I would feel fulfilled. If I had children, I would feel connected. If I had money, I would feel secure. That's the biggest lie we tell ourselves, right? And it's this shadow self that needs to be healed. And this is what we're doing in Sacred Feminine Pleasure. In 8 weeks, you are healing that shadow self. You are removing the shame from your body that attracts all these negative energies in your life, all this toxic behavior, binge eating, addictions, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, addictive, toxic boyfriends, wherever the case may be. The reason why you're attracting all this into your life is because when you look in the reflection, you are seeing your fake self. So how can you be more authentic? What can you do to be more authentic? I want you to have the belief that you belong here. When you feel inauthentic, when you feel like you can't be yourself, it's because you believe you do not belong here on earth. You don't belong in the spaces that you're in. You don't belong at your job. You don't belong in your family. You don't belong as a friend. You don't belong to love. You don't belong to Allah. You feel disconnected. Disconnection to the space around you is creating that shame that's making you feel like a fake, that's making you have low self-esteem. So when you feel like you belong here, everything will reconnect to you. When you have that sense of belonging, and I want you to really understand this sense of belonging, it's the most important belief that you need to have in order for you to be yourself. Because think about it, when you were in the womb, you felt like you belonged there. You felt warm, you felt safe, you could hear your mother's heartbeat, you felt so secure, you felt loved, you were being taken care of, you felt like you belonged there. But when you came through the birth canal and you were born into the world, that's when it felt scary. And that's when you realize you're going to have to breathe on your own and survive on your own. Not that you would survive on your own without your parents, but you had to learn how to breathe by yourself. Because when you were in the womb, the umbilical cord and the space you were in, you didn't have to figure out how to breathe. You could breathe underwater. But now that you've come to earth, it's like, oh my God, I have to use my lungs. But then if your parents haven't given you emotional tools and they didn't make you feel like you belong, you quickly fill that feeling with shame. Because as human beings, we have a natural state to go into victimhood. Children are narcissists. Like I like to say children are narcissists, not in a bad way, but children are selfish. Children make everything about them. Right? You could explain to a child it's not about you. Let's say, for example, if I shout at my children and I say to them, it's not you, baby, it's me. When I was shouting at them, they thought that they did something wrong. They didn't think mommy's hungry, mommy's tired, mommy had a bad day. They are thinking, oh my God, I'm such a bad daughter, I'm a bad girl, mommy doesn't love me, mommy doesn't like me, because children are very selfish by nature. We go into victim mode by nature. Allah says man is ever ungrateful, meaning we are always victims. We always think like victims. We always act like victims. From the moment we are born into this world to the moment we die, we are in victim thinking. Because we don't realize the abundance that Allah has given us. So, as children, we naturally have that state. But when you have a parent who hasn't worked on herself or himself, when you have parents who don't have the emotional tools, who don't know how to handle big outbursts, who don't know how to handle your tantrums, who don't know how to handle your big energy, because they were raised to believe that being loud, talking about yourself, being confident was bad. So now they put that on you and filled your body with shame. That shame is what's really making you feel like you don't belong. That shame is creating the disconnect. So for you to feel like you are authentic and yourself, to feel like you belong here, that's the biggest belief I had to really feel in my body. I had to really accept the belief that I belong here. I belong. Like I wasn't created by accident. It wasn't an accident that I'm here. I'm not here because I don't have a purpose. My purpose is to become myself. And the only way I can become myself and be my truest self and fulfill my truest potential, my fullest potential, is to feel like I belong. And when you feel like you belong, you take up space. Because think about it, when you were little, when you were taking up space and your parents didn't know how to handle that, they shamed you into diluting yourself and playing small. Don't be too confident. Don't be too arrogant. Oh, you've been a little bit arrogant there. Who do you think you are? These are the rules of the house. How dare you speak back to me? How dare you disrespect me? Blah, 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 blah. Your parents were creating that program in you and telling you that what you're saying is not good enough. You don't belong here. Know your place. And your place as a child back then with parents who didn't know how to handle you was that you have no place here. You just have to conform. But your personality didn't want to conform to their ideals. Your personality wants to be expressed. Your soul wants to be expressed in its fullest potential. And if your parents didn't know how to help you express your soul's potential, most likely you put your soul into the corner, into the back burner, and said, you know what, I'm just going to listen to everyone else and ignore my soul's calling. My soul wants to be expressed. My soul wants to experience this world. My soul wants to go on a jet ski. My soul wants to go and travel the world. My soul wants to have children. My soul wants to get married and have a career and have it all. You are afraid to explore your soul, explore experiences, because you have been told that it's wrong. So you shame yourself, you shame your desires and tell yourself, no, I can't do that. That's going to make me greedy. That's going to make me arrogant. That's going to make me a bad Muslim. That's going to make me a bad person, a bad Christian, a bad Jew, whatever your religion is, whatever your culture is. You are using the programs of your culture, your religion to shame yourself. So when I wanted to express my soul's potential, which is to create a massive impact in the world, which is to help people, especially women, reconnect to their feminine energy so that they can have it all. They can have spiritual wealth and they can have physical wealth, abundance, pleasure, fun in life, excitement, rest, relaxation, experience all parts of their feminine energy. I had to feel like I belong in that space. I had to take up space. And I had to learn how to take up that space by constantly having the stream of thought that I belong here. I'm not doing anything wrong. Because when you feel like you don't belong, you feel like you're doing everything wrong. And you see everyone as an enemy. When you feel like you don't belong here, your ego will take you into the state of everyone is your enemy, protect yourself from them. And that's what creates a disconnect. When you feel like you don't belong, you will always look for ways to disconnect yourself and stay in your castle and build your wall very high so that no one can hurt you. Because your parents hurt you, your peers hurt you, society hurt you. So what you did is you retreated to your castle with your wounds and you built a wall so high that no one can climb that wall unless you come out and to try and connect. And when you can't connect with people, you say, you see, I told myself, I don't belong here. No one likes me. I'm disconnected. And you run back to your castle and you stay in your castle and you isolate. And I used to do the same thing. I used to believe that no one gets me. No one understands me. I don't belong here. Everyone's weird. I just can't connect with people. People just have their own belief system. I can't deal with them. And this is not to say that you should be hanging out with negative, toxic people. This is to say that where does your thought lie? Where do your beliefs live? What beliefs do you have in your mind that are disconnecting you from the world around you? Because if you want to make an impact in the world, if you want to express your true potential, if you want to become more of yourself, you have to feel like you belong, like you're allowed to. Because when you feel like you belong, you give yourself permission to express. Like, okay, I belong here. I'm not going to get judged. I'm not going to get criticized. I'm not going to get shamed for expressing myself because I belong here. I belong in this room. I belong in this home. I belong with my family. I belong with my friends. I belong with my career. I belong in my job. I belong with money. I belong with Allah. If you feel like you belong, everything reconnects to you and you release the shame.